Hey guys, Mr. Yaisley here. Just want to continue on with our notes from Chapter D notes on decimals. This portion we're going to be working with multiplying decimals. And so we've really kind of created a 5-step approach for this method of how we're going to multiply our decimals. Hopefully this is a review from your previous math courses, and this will be pretty simple for you and just reminding you of how it all works. So our first step when we're multiplying decimals is we're going to rewrite the problem vertically if they didn't give it to us that way. And all the ones you're going to deal with on the assignment, they're going to write them horizontally, so you're going to need to rewrite them vertically. Now, one of the great things on the multiplying of decimals that's different from adding and subtracting is you don't have to line the decimal points up. That is not a requirement and actually can make it a little bit more confusing if you try to do that. So I would encourage you just write the numbers as they are, and don't worry about lining the decimal places up. So we're going to make sure that we get those numbers stacked vertically, put our multiplication sign or our line underneath. Second step, we're going to multiply them as if the decimal point does not exist. So we're going to multiply them like they're whole numbers. So again, don't have to line the decimal points up, multiply as if they're whole numbers. And then we're going to add the columns just like normal at the end. So remember, when you're multiplying and you've got multiple numbers, you're going to space one over to the left every time, just like you've learned before. None of that is new to you, but we're then going to add the columns up and bring them down and go from there. Third step is we need to count how many decimal spots there were between all the numbers being multiplied. So what we mean by that is how many numbers do you count to the right of the decimal point. So how many were to the right of the decimal point in the first number, how many were to the right of the decimal point in the second number, so on and so forth. That's really important information to know, because then we take that number, so whatever that is, so let's say there were 4 decimal places to the right. We're going to say, all right, we're going to start with the number 4, and we're going to start all the way to the right on our answer, and we're going to count 4 numbers to the left, and then that is where we place our decimal point. So we're going to go from right to left and place the decimal point right there. If necessary, we need to drop any zeros that are on the far right. So if a 0 ends up on the far right, we need to drop that number off and we need to get rid of it, because zeros to the far right of the decimal place, if they are the last number, do not have anything to do with the final answer. We can simplify that. All right, so let's take a look at our multiplying examples that we have here. Example A is 29.3 times 4.52. Well, first step, rewrite the problem vertically. So 29.3, 4.52, multiplication sign, and my line underneath. Now notice again, did not worry about lining up the decimal places, and that is completely fine. So then we're going to go and we're going to multiply them just like we normally would. We're going to start with the bottom 2 right here, and we're going to multiply it times each number. Then we'll go to the 5, do that, and then the 4 and do that. So that is our normal practice. So first one, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 9 is 18, so put the 8 down, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and I'm going to mark that 1 out so that I don't accidentally use it again. All right, then I need to space 1 over to the left for my next answer, so my starting number will go underneath the 8, right? And I'm going to multiply 5 times 3, which is 15, carry the 1. 5 times 9, which is 45, plus 1 is 46, so carry the 4. And 5 times 2, which is 10, plus 4, which is 14. Mark out that 4. So remember, start 1 over to the left. And then we've got to do it for our final number here. So 4 times 3, that is 12, starting 1 more over to the left. Carry the 1. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 1 is 37. Mark that out. 7 down, carry the 3. And then 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So now I've done all the multiplication. So now I need to add those up. Well, I like to go ahead and write these zeros in here. You don't necessarily have to. Just remember there's nothing there that you're adding with. And we add straight down the column. So here we go. 6 plus 0 is 6, plus 0 is 6. So 6. 8 plus 5 is 13, plus 0, still 13, so bring down the 3, carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus another 6 is 12, plus 2 is 14, so bring down the 4, carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 7 is 12, so bring down the 2, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Nothing to carry, and then nothing to add with these, so I'm just going to put a 1 right there. So here's where we now need to go back to our original numbers here, and we need to count the amount of decimal points that we have. So numbers to the right of the decimal place. Well, I have 1 here, a second one here, and a third one here. So 3 decimal points that we're going to be working with. So we're going to come down here to our final answer and start on the right, and we're going to count 3 spots over. So 1, 2, 3, and that is where we place the decimal place. So final answer is 132.436. All right, so example B, we're going to continue on with that one. That is 7.003 times 55.8. All right, so again, first step, rewrite the problem vertically. So I'm going to write that 7.003, 55.8. And again, reminder, don't have to line up the decimal places. Actually helps you probably more if you don't. So make sure that you don't confuse that with addition and subtraction of decimal points. All right, so next step, we're just going to go and multiply through like we did before. So 8 times 3, that's 24. So bring the 4 down, carry the 2. 8 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 2, mark that out. 8 times 0 is 0, and 8 times 7 is 56. All right, on to the next one. 5 times 3, that is 15. Remember, start 1 over, carry the 1. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 7 is 35. All right, and then we got to do the same thing again. Well, you may notice that this 5 is the same as it was before, so really we're going to have this same number, just moved 1 over to the right. But just to show you what I mean, 5 times 3, that's 15. So again, starting with the 5 like we did before, carry the 1. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 7 is 35. So what I was saying earlier, we've got 35015 here. We ended up with the exact same numbers here. It was just shifted 1 over. So if you notice that you've got that going on, you can always kind of cheat that a little bit and be a little quicker with it. All right, I'm going to add these up now and then see what I've got. So 4 plus nothing underneath, so just bring the 4 down. 2 plus 5 with nothing else underneath is 7. 0 plus 1 is 1, plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 0 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 0 is 10, so bring the 0 down, carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 5 is 9, and 3 is the only number there, so bring that down. Well, now step 3, we've got to count how many decimal spots there were between all the original numbers. So I count on this first number, 1, 2, 3. Second number, I've got a 4th spot, so 4 total decimal places. So step 4, now we've got to go all the way to the right of this final answer and count 4 spots over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where my decimal place ends up. So final answer here, 390.7674. All right, well, I'd encourage you on example C to try this one on your own. So pause the video, try it out, and then check your work against mine. So first thing I'm going to do, write this vertically. So 31.42 times 65. All right, now the second one doesn't have a decimal place, but that's okay. We can still multiply them. So first number, as always, 5 times 2, that's 10. So bring down the 0, carry the 1. 5 times 4, that's 20, plus 1 is 21, so bring down the 1, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, and 5 times 3 is 15. Next number, 6 times 2, that is 12. Carry the 1. I need to mark those ones out from last time. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So bring down the 5, carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And 6 times 3 is 18. So addition sign, bring the line underneath, then add down the columns. So 0 here, 1 plus 2 is 3, 7 plus 5 is 12, so 2, carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 8 is 14. So 4, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 8 is 10. So bring the 0 down, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So now I need to count the amount of total decimal places, which is 1, 2 from the original number. So start on the far right, count 2 places to the left, so 1, 2. So my decimal point goes here. Now remember, on step 5, it says to drop any zeros that are on the far right. So if they're on the right side of the decimal and they're the very last number, we can drop them off. Well, I notice this one has a 0 right here. So my final answer isn't 2042.30. It is actually 2042.3. That is the simplest form of that number. All right, well, hopefully that was a good review for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, but otherwise you should have what you need to do your multiplying of decimals.